Hey everyone, this is Wei and welcome back. And for this drawing, it's just gonna be another pretty face drawing and nothing too serious. It's just for me to find something to sketch. So let's get started and I'll talk about the process along the way. Alright, so let's draw this face and nothing too serious, just pretty much straight on front of you. And I just kind of want to sketch something, you know, nothing too serious. It's almost just like a daily sketching. So in terms of lightness and, you know, proportion wise and things like that, just throw all that stuff out the window, right? Just kind of want to have fun sketching a little bit. And, you know, if it's nice, then I can continue on, and if not, it's okay, right? I mean, it's just part of art. It's just a lot of it is just a lot of this kind of drawing where it's not too serious. You know, don't take it too serious and don't be too afraid to make a mistake, and just kind of draw and learn along the way and have fun with it, right? You know, pick a subject that you like. I do like to do portraits, so I do like to draw pretty faces. I think most people do. So not a lot of measuring. I'm just gonna go. Their eyes are a little bit further apart, it seems, and just got smaller eyes. A little bit. I think this side's a little bit bigger. So let me see. Just let me check in to make sure everything's in frame so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm using a 4B. This is a mechanical lead pencil. You guys seen all my other videos. I use this quite often. Just nice and clean. I don't need to sharpen it. Just neater, you know, you won't have any lead exposed. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I'm just trying to capture that look, right? That kind of dreamy, dazed look. So it's relatively small. That way I don't have to shade too much. I really recommend you try sketching smaller, especially if you're running into problems and stuff. Because when you draw smaller, things go faster, and you'll just be able to, you know, finish up your drawing a lot quicker. Or if you mess up, you know, you're gonna mess up faster, which is good too, because you know what you've done wrong. So sketching a line. So you see that I went across, right? And I kind of made a line there, and it's okay, you know, just the line helps me, you know, visually to see across better. And don't be afraid of making a mess of your drawing, because again, that's the whole process of drawing. You know, you don't want to be too neat. And so once in a while when I'm drawing like this, and I'll end up like concentrating, you know, maybe too much in one area, and then it's like you just kind of want to snap yourself out of it, you know, just kind of like boom, you know, just step away and just, you know, push on something hard, just break that rhythm, you know, don't concentrate too much on one little thing. And you see me do it once in a while, you know, it's like you gotta remind yourself. All right, so let's go straight down our nose. Let's see, so this is pretty high key, so there's not a lot of midtones. Okay, so here's our nostrils, kind of exposed a little bit. Okay, there's a lot of subtle shading, which is okay because it's kind of nice with the 6B pencil. You can actually, it's very soft. You can get away with, you know, very light strokes. And here's your lip. Let's mark in some lines, corner, and just outline. I'll just outline her lip shape. That way I can start shading it. All right, so this is something very light, and then now I can go in and start shading it. And not a lot of makeup on her lips, so it's not that dark. But it is kind of reddish, so in black and white, red is translate to a pretty dark color when it's, I mean, pretty dark shade. Just sketching some of these lines like that. All right, so you can see, like, even right there, I can start feeling I was just like way too tight, you know? I just gotta loosen up a little bit and let's get going, right? Okay, so let's start shading this a little bit darker, the inside. A little bit highlight out here, we'll leave it. A little bit there. This side's a little bit darker. So now I'm seeing all these little subtleties, right? This one's right here is a little bit darker, right here is a little bit darker, here. All right, so let me see how that looks. I'm checking the camera. All right, looks like the face is skewed, but that's okay. Let's just put in some hair so we can frame the face a little bit. Some hair, see a chin. Sorry, looks like it's gonna go off page, off the camera. There's a chin, not too sharp. I can actually sharpen it, right? So you can make it a little bit prettier, you know, it's not like we're not bound to anything. Let's make that a little bit sharper. Okay. So now let's see. Well, let's fill in some more face so we can see the outline of the face. Sorry, I think this is gonna go off frame. I was hoping to draw a little bit smaller, but I end up drawing a little bit bigger than I would. All right, so let's concentrate back onto the face because that is the most important thing. So I'm gonna start shading. I'm just gonna stick with this 6B. So I'm doing these wiggly shapes, almost circular shapes. It's kind of whatever I see in the reference that's a little bit darker, then I'm just kind of drop my pencil, my whole arm a little bit. Drop into it and get a little bit more weight. So it becomes a little bit darker. So here, darker. The shadow. It's gonna be a lot of hair actually. This is right here is a little bit darker. Darker. Darker here. Right under the eyeball. The socket right here. Darker here. The nose is a little bit darker. So you can see with the 6B how soft it is. And I am working with, I forgot what kind of paper it is, but this paper do have a lot of texture to it. That's why you're seeing a lot of, white areas as I'm shading because it's pretty broad. But it's a nice drawing paper. It's a little bit heavier weight so you can sketch in and dig your pencil into it, you won't rip the paper. So a little bit more shading here. Very subtle. Just kind of keep it loose. All right, so let's go back to the eye. Now I'm just gonna go in another path. I'm turning my pencil a little bit. That way I can get a little bit sharper edge. Let's focus a little bit more on the eye. Because I don't want to do a little bit too much of this subtle shading. Because if I wanted to do that, I can actually just smudge it or something. Which I'm not too crazy to do, but in this case it might actually work. These kind of high key drawing. Generally don't like to smudge because I do like the texture. Texture of the graphite onto the paper. I do like the sketchy look. All right, so that's a little bit darker now. It gives you a little bit more depth, right? Darker here, shading here. This is part a little bit darker. Darker here. Probably made our eyes a little bit too small again. Okay, so you can kind of see contrast, right? Like this was like the first pass and here's the second pass, and this is what you can get to. And then, you know, with the third pass, you could even get more. But with this 4B, I mean, if I switch to a 2B, then I can shade in a little bit more lighter details and get more of the mid-tone, but you know, I'm just gonna stick with this. So here, I can make it a little bit darker here. Squinting my eyes a little bit so I can see the reference. So spot the values a little bit better when you squint your eyes. All right, so let's go on to this side. Let's balance it out, right? We can't just do one side. So turning my pencil, get that little sharper edge. It's got a very unique lid going on here. Turning my pencil again to get those sharp lines for the eyelashes. Okay, let's shade this a little bit darker. Okay, let's see. So once in a while when I'm drawing this, I'll be drawing like this, and then what you want to do is just kind of like step back and look at it to see, you know, if things are correct, because if you're always up close to the paper, you're really only seeing one perspective. And when you zoom out again, when you step away, you're gonna see another perspective. And you're gonna start recognizing little things that you did earlier. So it's very important to be able to zoom in and zoom out. And another extreme is if you take this, whatever you're drawing, you know, take it in front of the mirror, right? And see it in reverse with the mirror. And then you're gonna see it look really weird. It's like, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys done that. And it's a great way to be able to see what you're drawing with a completely different eye. And sometimes, most of the time, it actually looks pretty weird. And you're gonna see all the mistakes quickly. All right, so let's go. Yeah, it's turning out pretty, right? I mean, that's the whole point. So let's shade in just a little bit. I don't want to go too much here. Yeah, let's put a little bit more effort on the lip, right? I think that will really help balance it out. You know, you have the dark eyes, and then you want to kind of balance it out with the darker lip here. So I might even make it a little bit darker than what you see in the reference. And again, you know, feel free to stray away from the reference. You know, nobody cares where you get it from. Just want to see a nice drawing. So very short strokes. Whenever I know it's dark, I'm just gonna drop your weight. You know, drop your pencil on this. Just like hit it. You know, don't be too girly with it. Pardon the expression, but you know, let's be a little bit more forceful with the strokes. Okay, let me see. So I gotta step away, kind of look at it. All right, that looks like it, right? I mean, it's getting there, even though it's a mess, but it's a calculated mess. It's not just messy overall. All right, let's give more definition here so we can see the mouth a little bit. So I'm gonna start shading here. And it's gonna be a lot of loose strands here, right here. I'm still kind of pondering, what should I do? I don't know if I want to keep shading. Kind of like the way it looks now. Now let's do a little bit more. Let's pop out the face a little bit, right? So there's a lot of little subtle shading here that will really help give this face a lot more structure. So like even like right here, right? That's slightly darker, and you can actually exaggerate that. And this is darker right here too. And it lines up right on the lip, on the edge of the lip. So there's a lot of little things that you can do. It's just a matter of how much of these little dabs you want to do. And I'm still learning, you know, it's like the face is so complex. It's just, when you draw enough of this, you kind of see a lot of patterns on the face, you know, like the structures of the face, and that does help too. Because a lot of times the reference will not show you a lot of the stuff. It's just, you know, because the lighting is very clean. So knowing the structure a little bit will help you to know which part to exaggerate a little bit more. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with the hair. His face is pretty skewed, isn't it? So I'm gonna try to bring it back a little bit here. Yeah, do a little bit more hair strands right here so I can just kind of trim that face a little bit. Let's do this dark right here. Kind of needs some kind of anchor point. I think this overall right here, this is a good spot. Just kind of hold the drawing together. All right, let's do a little bit hair on this side, just so that kind of balances out that way. So that we don't get like one side of hair and then no hair on the other side. A little bit darker here. Okay. Yeah, sorry if I'm mumbling, you know, it's like, you know, it's pretty hard to talk and draw at the same time, right? So, just trying to spew out what I'm thinking, that's what I'm doing. That's all I'm trying to do. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. It's just my way of doing things, and I notice some things do work and some things don't. So all I'm trying to do is just trying to share with you my process. Hopefully it'll help you. Okay. Yeah, so I think, you know what? This is probably good enough. I don't know if I want to push it any further. I mean, I might go in later. Maybe if I look at it later, I mean, I'll see something, maybe I want to continue this. But overall, I think that's it. Yeah, it turned out okay. You know, it is a pretty face. Kind of looks like her. I think my face is definitely skewed. I mean, this eyeball right here is like way too high. I mean, this should have been, this eye should have been probably like over here somewhere, right? Yeah, but overall, I mean, it's still kind of pretty. I better not take this and look it through the mirror because it's gonna be way off. But overall, I think this is it. All right, so I hope you guys like this drawing, and yeah, you know, just give it a shot and see how it goes, and stay tuned for more, and I will see you next time.